Hello, everybody, and welcome to another speaker interview. We have with us today John Papa. John, how you doing?
How's it going, Joe? How are you doing, everybody?
I'm doing great, doing great. I hope everybody that's watching is also doing well. John, we're excited to talk to you. One of the perennial favorites at ng-conf. So I got a bunch of questions here for you. I'm just going to get right into them.
Let's go.
Awesome. First off, how did you get into programming?
My first programming experience was when I was working on role-playing games, which back then were, when I was growing up, were text-based. I think it was a game called Wizardry.
Mm.
And effectively, there were wizards and things, but it was all text-based on a black and white screen, basically today's terminal. And I got really excited about using this. And then my second adventure into it, which really sunk me in, was I was able to hack into what was called a bulletin board service back when I was a kid. And I was mad at one of my sisters, and I managed to hack into some airline and get a one-way ticket to Moscow for my sister, which actually came to the house, which caused a lot of problems for my family.
Oh my goodness. Wow. That's crazy.
Yes, yes.
That's hilarious. Wow.
And I do love my sister. We're very good friends to this day. Yes, it's funny now. It wasn't so funny when it happened.
Right. Like a lot of stories.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, cool. So next question, what programming languages do you know?
I've worked with a lot of languages. My favorite is JavaScript by far, and I can include TypeScript into that as well.
Mhm.
It's my favorite. I do a little Python. I do .NET, C# quite a bit. I've done other languages like C and C++ in the past, even COBOL, assembly, believe it or not.
Wow.
So, but my favorite is by far JavaScript.
Yeah. Cool. All right. What's your favorite technology that's not really in use anymore?
My favorite tech that's not used anymore. Oh my. I don't know. I'm pretty happy to say goodbye to tech when they go away. So
Yeah.
I don't think I have a favorite not used other than it's something that like really primed me for this new century, I guess, is thinking about the tech that we used as a kid. When I was a kid, there were things called a Walkman. And I'm sure some people know what those are these days, but now we just have a phone and we have Bluetooth headphones. But just thinking about the way we would play movies or audio way back when, which was fascinating to me.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy, this resurgence in vinyl, right? I was listening to a podcast about there's this new these this high def wave. They want like Spotify and others are offering high def streaming and things. And this podcast basically said, look, if you actually want truly real, like most of the time your ears can't even tell, but if you really want true high def, you actually have to go to vinyl. You have to get away from digital, and you have to have completely analog the whole way through to listen to it if you want actual true high def. I thought that was very interesting. I was like, wait,
Wow.
that feels backwards to me.
How do you stream vinyl?
Yeah. Exactly. All right. Let's talk about Angular. What's your favorite part of Angular?
My favorite part of Angular is that I get to experiment with ways that are maybe not conventional to use it. For example, last year at ng-conf, I had a talk that I did basically called What If with Angular to show ways that we could go beyond what Angular does now to say, how do we take some of the best things from React View and Svelte and other things and merge it in with the patterns of Angular? So my favorite things with Angular is as much of a guided path as it is, where it's a very opinionated framework. And I like that. There's also ways to go beyond that if you just experiment a little.
Awesome. What do you think is the hardest part of Angular, or maybe hardest to learn?
So I'll go with the saying I said for a long time. The hardest part of Angular is not Angular. Angular itself is easy to learn. It's all the stuff around it. It's the configuration, and it's using Webpack. Are we going to use something like Vite in the future? I don't know. Why do we have to use RxJS? Do I have to learn TypeScript if I don't know it? All these different concepts that kind of come in with Angular. I wish in some ways we could just, which is why I do the what if we just taught Angular and got all the other distractions out of the way and make it easier for onboarding, more welcoming?
Yeah. No, I get it. Like, as a similar method you were talking about, your initial programming was these text-based games, right? I also learned to program about the same time. And back then UIs were just text-based. And I think now of a new programmer, how many things they have to learn to put something together that they can interact with. Back when it was text-based, like it took like 20 minutes to figure out how to print to the console and receive input from the console, and then you could actually learn to program. But now you have to learn HTML and CSS and server communication, all these sorts of things just before you can put that first program out.
And what tool do you need? And what's your extensions? And how about a terminal? How do I install Git? What's NPM? What version of Node do I have? Do I need a Node manager? Yes. There's just so much, I call it concept count. The concept count to learn anything these days is beyond just learning Angular. It's all the stuff around it. And that goes for React and other things too, to be honest.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Now you've been to ng-conf a few times. Let's talk. What is your favorite ng-conf memory, or one of your favorite ng-conf memories?
I have so many, to be honest. It's honestly is one of my favorite events, and you know this, Joe, because I always ask you to come back if I can. But I love it because the people. It's not just the talks, but it's the people I meet there. I've met so many friends there, such as yourself and others. But the conversations I have there in the hallway, I think the way it's organized and the way that we kind of meet and talk, I've met people that I've started conversations with, talked with the Angular team quite a bit and gotten to know them, work with folks there. I've been able to work with some of the students who've gotten scholarships and come and talk to folks at ng-conf, which is fascinating because it's a different perspective. So honestly, my favorite memories, it's not the parties, it's not the sessions, it's none of that, not the workshops. And I know I give those too. It's meeting out. And my favorite thing to do is to stand in the hallway outside the main room and just talk to people the whole time. And I really love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like at ng-conf, you and Ward Bell are this permanent fixtures in the hallway. Well, if anybody asks, where's John? I'll go look at.
We should just get a chair in the hallway and stand there. And I should say, like, why can't you do that at other conferences? You can, but part of it is physical setup. Part of it is the schedule, the way that you all do it with one big room. And another part of it is just the atmosphere. It's a fun, engaging atmosphere. Where a lot of other conferences, a lot of people they're trying to get from one end of a long building to another between sessions. And there's no time to talk. There's also no place to talk. But ng-conf, the way you all set it up at the place you do it, it just works really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. That's cool. All right. Here's the, let's go with we're going to go serious question and then a lighthearted question. So serious question. How do you deal with imposter syndrome?
One day at a time. It really is. We all have our own insecurities about what we do or don't do. Something I try to remember is that nobody knows everything. I don't. I certainly don't. And when people ask me questions, I try to be as honest as I can and to do more listening than answering. So a lot of times when folks ask me questions, I try to find out more about why they're asking it and what they've learned and what their opinions are. And when it comes down to things that I'm being asked about, I'm very quick to say, I don't know, if I don't know. And I find that puts me at ease more to not try to be that person. The other piece of it is I also have given up a long time ago on learning everything there possibly is. If you pay attention to Twitter and social media out there, you'd think you need to learn a new thing every 5 minutes. Dirty secret is you don't have to, and it's okay. It's perfectly okay not to jump on every single train, because some of those trains go off cliffs, and that's not good for anybody's stress.
Right. Yep. So true. So true. Okay. Now let's do a little bit more lighthearted. If you weren't a programmer, what would you be?
I've thought about this a lot lately. What would I do in my next career? And it's interesting because during the pandemic, one thing I've gotten into that I didn't think I would, because I was a soccer player for most of my life. As I gotten older, I can't play it as much because of certain physical issues, but I've gotten into running, and I really enjoy running because it's so cathartic to me. It keeps me physically active, keeps me mentally open. So when I run, I have all this time to think. In fact, I think, Joe, I did a meeting with you once a year or two ago on a bicycle when I was riding outside.
Yep.
Turned off video, but I find it really, really therapeutic. And I don't know if I'd be a full-time runner, but I would definitely do more outside, more hiking, more running, and less technology.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, final section of our chat today is a whole bunch of rapid fire questions. So I'm going to give you like 5 or 10 rapid fire questions. Give you 2 options. You pick one or the other. No explanation necessary. But if you do have something to elucidate on it, that's fine. But really, we're just looking for what would John Papa choose from these two options.
Sounds fun.
So we start with a classic here. Kirk or Picard?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Kirk or Picard?
Oh, Picard.
Okay. Ruby or Scala? Nice. Very subtle. Very subtle.
I choose neither, frankly.
Neither between Ruby or okay. All right. BB-8 or Grogu?
That's tough. I might be controversial here, but I think I'd go with BB-8.
Okay. Manga or mangoes?
Mango.
Okay. Game of Thrones or Squid Game?
Game of Thrones. Come on, get real.
Golf or mini golf?
Golf.
All right. Twilight or Batman? Wait, the Batman.
I would say Batman, but I'm just not a fan of the movies, but I love Batman.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sports or esports?
Sports.
Okay. All right. Last one. Mickey or Goofy?
Mickey.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thanks, John. It's been great to have you on and chat again. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you, John, and everybody that's watching at ng-conf.
It'll be great to see everybody in person. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Take care.